Greetings! I am Crispy Matters, a Gaian emissary of light, and I am another you because Een Laq we are one God-sciousness, and I am very excited, Mr. Dan Millman, to bring you your Mayan embodiment astrology, partly in honor of your 77th birthday, which is tomorrow. Now, that means your 77th birthday on planet Earth. So I'll call it your Gaian birthday. Your 77th spin around the sun is complete. Now, your Mayan birthday is based on this 260-day matrix, the loom of DNA, if you will. 260 days is approximately how long it takes to make a baby, and that's based on the numbers 13 and 20. Now, 13 is in the body in an interesting way, Dan. You have 13 major joints of movement: ankle, knee, hip, wrist, elbow, shoulder, neck is the 7th in the middle, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and of course 20 fingers and toes happens to make a matrix that is approximately the average number of days of human gestation. Isn't that wonderful? And this is also a fractal for the Mayan long count, which famously ended on winter solstice 2012. I shouldn't say winter, I should say December 21st, 2012. And that was a 5,125-year cycle based on this. Okay? That fit into that cycle perfectly. Now, back to you. You were born on what is called Een 191, which is this day right here, the 191st day, which is tone 9. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's all about the body. They did their counting in the body, using the body for counting, which is why they have a base 20 counting system. They counted with all of their little digits, okay? 20, 400, 8,000, 16 million? I don't even know. It's so big, it's beyond me, seriously. I can only count up to 260 over and over. Now, speaking of that, you've had 77 Gaian birthdays, but you have had 108 Mayan birthdays that you didn't even know about, apparently. Thank you for allowing me to do this once again. I'm very excited. It brings me great joy. And by the way, please, I'd love to do this for Joy as well. She doesn't need a video if she doesn't want, but I'll gladly do it if she does. So, tone 9, patient, actually means persevering. It means never giving up. It means keeping your eyes on the prize. Does that make sense to you? It means being very patient with your current level of exertion to be your best. And your glyph upon which you were born standing is the monkey. Now, I personally have a hard time believing that you're a monkey. A patient monkey, nonetheless. Now, one of the things I always do for my clients is combine key code words from the glyph and key code words from the tones. There's at least 10 of each. Tones, I just said, not the number 9, Dan. The numbers don't refer to quantity. It's not like 9 tennis balls or a dozen eggs. It's vibration, frequency. So we call them tones. Now, combining key code words, glyph and tone, put them together. I call those high vibration phrases. Here are the 4 that I came up with for you. Persevering inner child. Intentional trickster. Master performer. And totally eclectic. That is so cool. Dan, I think you need some new shirts, buddy. Get some crazy shirts, all right? Now, I also think it's very cool that some other interesting people have your same Mayan birthday. Here they are. Dustin Hoffman, Roxanne Meadows of the Venus Project, Serena Williams, Samuel Beckett, and it says here Michael Shermer, but I'm a little skeptical about that one. All right, so now the next 4 elements I'm going to explain to you are your guiding signs. And what happened to me one day while meditating, I had been trying to figure out the patterns embedded within Mayan astrology that is usually called Mayan Tree of Life astrology, the Mayan Cross, or the Mayan Destiny Path. Everyone has 4 guides. I studied them for years and just didn't grok them. I'm not a good memorizer, and they just didn't sink in. One day I was meditating and I was trying to figure it out. And zap, this happened to me. It was a 1-second download in which I felt my hand, my right hand being tightly gripped. My left hand was open and being caressed by the left hand of my divine feminine goddess guide. My right hand was my divine masculine guide. And I felt this jolt grab, and I knew I was inside the wheel of 20 glyphs. And I looked up to my future vision guide, and I was thinking back to my past wisdom guide. And instantly, oh, my little printer wanted to say something. Instantly, I understood the whole system, and here's how it works. It's so simple. You were born on tone 9, so you count up 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, base 13 system, 1. So tone 1 is your past wisdom guide. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone who's born on tone 9, your guides are the same pattern of the tones. Tone 1 for your past wisdom guide. Tone 2 for your divine feminine guide. Tone 3 for your divine masculine guide. And tone 4 for your future vision guide. They all have key code words, of course. Now, so that's the order I teach them in. With people who are born standing on the monkey, such as yourself, Dan, you count back 6 steps to your divine masculine guide. Monkey is the 11th glyph. Minus 6 is 5. The 5th glyph is the serpent. 5th glyph. Some people tell me I'm a cunning linguist, but I'm not sure about that. 5th glyph is the serpent. And do you remember the tone we said? 1, 2, 3. So the 3 is your activating serpent. And we're going to talk about that later, because the serpent to the Maya means the chakras and kundalini. Hello. Back 6 to your divine masculine guide. 2 more back. It's all on here. It's so simple. 2 more back to your past wisdom guide. From the 5th to the 3rd is the night, or the Dawn, some people call it. I call it dusk. And it's actually dusk, night, dawn. It is the full time in which the sun is not in the sky. Of course, the same pattern to your divine feminine guide. You count 6 into the future. 11 plus 6 is 17. The 17th glyph is Gaia. Some other areas, regions call it earth. Some call it earthquake. I call it Gaia, the divine feminine spirit that inhabits this planet, of which each one of us is a cell. Big. It's big. That's your divine feminine guide. Tone 2. Tone 2 is pairing. Okay, you see what's happening here? Pairing. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We go from 17 up to 19th glyph is the rainstorm. Stabilizing rainstorm. Fascinating. I'm going to explain all of those briefly to you. One other thing I'll mention is all of the tones have chakras connected to them. This is the only other vision I've received about the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar. And we do know that the Maya had the word chakra, in their vocabulary before the conquest. And they also had the word Kultanlilni and Kulthanlilni. They had 2 differentiations for what we now call Kundalini. Each of them with a different meaning slightly, which is fascinating to me. Okay, so I'm going to explain the rest of your guide positions, and to do that, I would like to introduce a friend. His name is Socrates. Tease! He's a bit of a tease.
Shut up, you wimp.
Oh, geez, he's a little bit rude, isn't he? Come on, Socrates, be nice.
Why bother?
Socrates, you're supposed to help teach.
And I am. See my pointy fangs?
Serpentrates, perhaps. But he's going to help us, and I don't know why. Maybe we'll find out later. Okay, so, in order, your past wisdom guide, tone 1, and the glyph is called dusk, initiating dusk.
You might find it interesting to know that this birthday is shared by 4 amazing people. Susan B. Anthony, Marlena Dietrich, Buffy St. Marie, and Uma Thurman.
Well, why is that important, Socrates?
Somehow, Dan and everyone born on Patient Monkey needs to learn something about their past from those 4 women and the following 3 high vibration phrases.
Okay, apparently that's what's going on here. Now, the past wisdom guide is not just about your own personal past. It could be messages you learned as a child from grandparents, parents. It could be anything you learned from any ancient culture as well. So here are your 3 phrases. Anchored through transition. Unconditional trust in the sanctuary. Unity within polarity and diversity. Wow, so you had to learn all of that, or you already did. I don't think you could have written any of the books you did or survived what you did without having a very solid foundation, which is what the past wisdom guide represents. Tone 1 of the third glyph goes down to tone 2 of the 17th glyph, pairing Gaia. Hey, Socrates! Yes? Who are the two people who share the birthday of pairing Gaia that could help Dan Million? Dan Million? Yeah, I like that.
It's better than Dan Mailman.
Whoa, easy there, buddy. Dan Million. Who are the two people?
Amy Klobuchar and Whitley Strieber.
All right, so go ahead with the high vibration phrases, please, Socrates. Transcending duality through collective wisdom. Interdependent stewardship. Equanimous earthquake. What? That's crazy. I can't even understand that. Can you please explain that? The glyph is often called earthquake. Earthquakes are natural. Being equanimous means being pulled neither into the wanting something or trying to resist and trying to get away. So, equanimous earthquake means you accept all of the shaking and breaking that goes on in your life. That is fascinating, and that's a divinely feminine vibration for you, Dan. Now, since we're talking about equanimous earthquakes, I have a slight confession to make, Dan. In our emails before this video, I told you that I also, like yourself, had my left leg, I think yours was your right, my left leg broken in 40 places and a metal rod down my tibia, and that is not quite true, so I apologize for that, because I actually shattered the elbow, skull fracture, pretty severe head injury, in a coma for 6 days, permanently lost my sense of smell. I've been in Japan for 18 years. I've never smelled Japan. At the age of 20, snapped the neural filaments. Very interesting. Now, as I also mentioned to you, after 13 months, I got the metal rod taken out of the left leg, and I could suddenly ride my bicycle again. I couldn't before that because the rod was rubbing against the patella. And the very next day after the rod was removed, I rode my bicycle up the steepest hill in Vancouver. It was a hill that the famous Rick Hansen on his tour in the wheelchair said was the steepest hill he'd ever climbed in Canada. So I had a similar experience to you and a similar vision. And this is the jersey I won a year later at the biggest bicycle race in Canada, Criterium, short race. It's not the biggest race, but it was the most famous crit, we call them. And I wasn't lying when I told you that 90 minutes after I won the top-level amateur competition, Lance Armstrong won the top-level professional. There was only one professional race, and Lance Armstrong won. I didn't meet him, whatever. Funnily enough, many years later, I met Greg LeMond, who signed the jersey that I won. Lance Armstrong won the same jersey. He was 19, I was 21. Blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to connect with you on that level. Equanimous earthquakes. I had to accept the fact that I ran out in front of a car and Wham! And before I got out of the hospital, just like you, I set that goal to come back, to do my best, just like you. So, 1, 2, 3. Tone 3, going across your heart chakra to your divine masculine guide. Oh, interesting thing. You're born on a blue glyph. The blue glyphs, all of them, are connected to the element of water and the emotional body. But your divine masculine is red, which is the physical body. So all of your things that you did in a divinely masculine way were about the body. It's also red for your divine feminine as well, as you just noticed. Divine feminine, very physical. So, for your divine masculine guide, I could not find any birthday exemplars, but the glyph is, as I mentioned, the serpent. Oh yes, maybe this is how Socrates is going to help me. In reading your latest book, Dan, I couldn't help but notice this quote. Then I decided to find out what your Mayan birthday was, and I realized that you have activating serpent, which could also be called activating chakras, which could also be called activating kundalini, as your divine masculine guide. Here we go. Another breathing exercise prepared me for a kundalini practice that opened the spinal channel. I visualized the glowing head of a snake biting its own tail to form a circle, moving slowly up my spine. With each inhalation, I heard and felt a subtle cracking or popping sound. Then, after the glowing head snake rose through the atlas vertebrae and curved forward through the hypothalamus and pineal gland, the snake's head traveled down with the exhalation through the front brain, soft palate, throat, heart, and diaphragm, pausing at the perineum, then returning again up the spine. And I would just like to conclude for all our listeners, we were told to breathe at our own pace, but for me, each full cycle of inhalation, exhalation took about a minute. 60 breaths or so in the course of an hour. I would like you all listeners to try that on your own time, or pause this video. Breathe in slowly for approximately 20 seconds is what I do, and hold it for 10. Breathe out slowly for 20 seconds, hold it out for 10, and then breathe in again. Try to breathe in slowly. Don't go, because then you just ruin it. It's so hard and it's so exhilarating. And if you have the mental capacity to envision a serpent climbing up your spine, that's as far as it goes in the in-breath, then you hold it and it goes around. Exhale and it goes down, and then you hold it and it curls around and you breathe in. Do that for an hour. Maybe you'll end up like Dan. Whoa! That would be a good thing. All right. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is stabilizing. Stabilizing rainstorm. Here are your 4 birthday exemplars for that position. Jack Black, Brad Pitt, Sheryl Sandberg, and Dr. Seuss. Amazing. The rainstorm, as you can tell by the glyph, is best exemplified by the eye of the storm, but it's also got lightning. And again, Dan, this is on your divinely feminine side. The glyph of the rainstorm is the number one glyph associated with the divine feminine in the whole 20 glyphs. To the Maya, this glyph represents all things divinely feminine. It's your future vision guide. Your divine feminine guide is Gaia. Now, the future vision guide is beckoning you your whole life. But after approximately age 52, 13, 13, 13, 13, you become a whole person and you start to live more through your divine future vision guide. They are all divine, by the way. Your divinely future vision guide of stabilizing rainstorm. Now, despite the glyph and all of the rain and the lightning, is really the eye of the storm, and it's really this nurturing, holding, hugging a friend, a child, during the storm outside, giving them a little cookie and some tea. That's the vibration here, all right? And here are 3 high vibration phrases to help you grok a little more. Divine feminine rules of the game. Unconditional love in the eye of the hurricane. Home and family needs healthy boundaries. So, honestly, Dan, there's about 1 million more things I could tell you, but I think that's enough for a video. Other than, I've had this book for over 25 years. It's amazing, as you know. I have a few of your other books, and this new one on Kindle. And I just have such respect for you. Thank you for telling us all the true story about the passage of your life and how everything came to be. It was so beautiful. I also have one more confession to make.
I am Socrates.
It's true! It was me the whole time.
Whew. You see, buddy, we're so, it's amazing.
All right. So, like the Maya say, oh yeah, by the way, you've been sitting here on my altar the whole time. I do this for all my clients. I put them on my altar before I do their charts.
Come on, up you go, little monkey. Be a good little monkey.
Okay, here we are. It's not as easy as it looks to balance. Now, as the Maya say, Een Laq, a.k.a. I'm another you, you are another me. We are one God-sciousness. Thank you for your 77 years of service. Namaste. Oh yeah, let's hope it's another 27, because you got to make it to 104, buddy. All right? 52, you become a full human being. 104, you become a superstar. You already are, but you know what I mean, right? You're in no hurry to go anywhere. You've got a lot to teach. And guess what? You've got a lot to learn. I can help with a small part of that. And then you're on your own, buddy. Okay? Much love. All of my love and respect for you.